I think I'm going to do a little Q&A right now. I haven't really set up a proper Q&A. Maybe I'll do that on Instagram this week. But right now what I'll do is I'll answer some of your queries and comments on YouTube itself, because I really appreciate the comments section on YouTube. It's really, really cool. So let's start with my most recent video, the one in Padova that I just posted last night. Buddy, where are you from? Your accent sounds like it's Dublin Irish with American vibe. That's exactly it. I'm from Dublin, Ireland, and I lived in New York for 20 years. I still live there. I still go back and forth. I'm there and I'm here, you know. Juan Gallardo says your subscribers keep growing. They do. I had no idea. I'm not asking anyone to subscribe. I wouldn't do that. I don't like when people do that to me on videos. They start screaming it in the camera to tell me to do something that is completely my decision to do. If you want to subscribe, I'm delighted, guys. But honestly, I'm flattered that anybody wants to watch any more of my shenanigans. Babsy Girl says, I'm a new subscriber and female and just love your videos. She's outlining that she's female because of course she knows this is mostly guys. It's a guy thing. That's really cool. You know, more and more women are wearing cool watches and getting into horology, because a great watch is a great watch. It doesn't have, or it shouldn't have, a gender tied to it. Like a Rolex Daytona is a Rolex Daytona. A Mega Speedmaster is a Mega Speedmaster. There isn't a man's version or a woman's version of these watches. So if you like the Speedmaster, the Man on the Moon watch, that's it. It doesn't matter who's, you know, whose wrist you're putting it on. It doesn't it might look a little big if you're a small dainty girl. I've seen you know, Sandra Bullock wearing a Daytona and Ellen DeGeneres wearing Daytonas. Not women's versions. There isn't any such thing, just a Rolex Daytona, and it goes really, really well. So more and more women are getting into that kind of thing. Waiting for my new Rolex to come in. Well, congratulations on that. You don't say which one, you should have said which one. But that is really cool, and thanks for watching. I know you're seriously outnumbered here, but you're very, very welcome. Chris Johnson says, this is becoming one of my favorite channels. Thanks, Chris. I'm looking into a two-tone Rolex and considering a Rootbeer. Any thoughts? Well, the Rootbeer is, out of all the ceramic versus pre-ceramic watches, the Rootbeer is the most different, I think. Like a Submariner, even a two-tone Submariner, you know, ceramic versus pre-ceramic, they are different watches, but you could almost mistake one for the other if you don't take a second glance. The Rootbeer that would never happen with the Rootbeer. The Rootbeer, the old Rootbeers are totally different looking. They have a really brown vintage vibe going on, and beautiful watches by all means, but they look nothing like the new ones. I think the new ones have this big bulky kind of heft to them, and of course they have the majesty of the rose gold and all of that. Gorgeous watches, but the old vintage ones have their own thing. You could almost have one of each and they almost wouldn't resemble one another at all. So if you're into the old one, cool. I'm not sure what you would wear with a watch like that. I've considered getting one myself, but I think I need like a tweed getup or something first, or maybe I could like rock a brown leather jacket with it. That might work actually, like just a black t-shirt with brown leather jacket might be cool with a Rootbeer with the old one. The new one will go with anything, and it's just like the new, any of the new two-tones. It's a big head turner of a watch. If you can get yourself on a list, which you will have to do at an AD, they're not super popular. You might wait 6 months or a year to get one, and you better know that you're really on the list and they have a real list and you trust your AD, because otherwise you could be waiting for nothing. Yeah, great watch, and probably the best thing about the Rootbeer, not seen around as much as maybe the two-tone subs and so on, and certainly rarer than, of course, the famous Batman and the Pepsi. At this point, those two models are just getting boring because everybody is looking for them. If I see a guy with a Rootbeer, if I see you, Chris, in a restaurant or in a bar with a Rootbeer on, I'll definitely tap you on the shoulder and give you a compliment on the watch. That's a cool guy's watch, I think. Shipmate, who I've seen you comment a few times on various videos. Thanks for watching. If Rolex is going to update the Submariner, would it be a smart thing to buy one now? Yes, is the answer. Very, very simple. Any Rolex, when it goes out of production, even in the slightest way, the slightest thing in the design that is no longer to be found, just means the value of the watch will go up. Does that mean you should buy one to resell it? I don't think so. You should buy a watch because you like it, but it's always a very nice feeling to purchase a watch and know that you haven't lost a single penny. In fact, you stand to make more money back if you ever need to sell it. We don't know if they're really going to do this overhaul, and the way Rolex seem to do things are very similar to the way Apple do things. They make very, very small changes over a long time. Sometimes they do something drastic, like drop the all black GMT like they did this year in 2019, 6 months ago or whatever it was. But in most cases, the changes are very, very small. It's quite possible that the Submariner will remain exactly the same, but just get an updated movement, 32, 35 instead of 31, 35. So something you don't see on the outside of the watch. It's just a movement update, which in the end translates to maybe 10 or 12 hours more power reserve, and that's it. In that case, whatever Submariner you buy this year will probably just maintain its value and not go up. Mike Barnard says, such high quality content, thanks brother. Effort goes into these videos, unlike some other garbage and crude watch channels. Well, Mike, I don't want to diss any other channels, and I think that a lot of the channels focus on interesting content. I try to too, although I like to put in some nice close-ups and things like that, but not everybody has that kind of equipment or knows how to use it. And in some cases, including with my buddy Paul Thorpe, who I just did a conversation with, it's not needed. You know, sometimes it's enough just to, in fact, sometimes with Paul's channel, it's enough to just put it on and listen to it. I don't even need to see any close-ups of the watch or anything. His stories in themselves paint a picture in your mind, and you don't even need to look at the screen. So I understand some of the channels are a little lower budget, but honestly, if the content is engaging, I don't think it matters at all. I think we're all on the edge of our seats, gripped to what these guys are saying. Bob Madrijan, I don't know if I'm saying your name properly. I'm kind of giving you an Italian pronunciation. I hope that's not a big mistake. He said the video production is great, magnificent, bravo, thank you so much, it's great. I really appreciate these comments. He's asking, maybe you're a producer by trade or director. No, man, I'm a music guy. I'm a music producer. That's different to a film producer. I just enjoy a little editing, and having grown up until I was 20 living in Ireland, I would watch BBC, and if you want to learn anything about great documentaries and montages, just watch the BBC. That's it. You'll just learn the coolest stuff. Your eye will get used to certain transitions and so on. And when I go to make my montages, I sit there and I think to myself, well, what would the BBC do? You know, I'm sure there's somebody watching who maybe works for BBC who thinks, yeah, your edits ain't nothing like ours, dude. And I totally agree. It's the finest quality television on earth, especially BBC Two. Love BBC Two. Gerard says, congratulations on 3,000 subscribers. Can you believe it? It's only been a month. I had no idea people would like this stuff so much. Thank you very much, Gerard. Or Gerard, I'm not sure how you say it. Geezer says, Padova looks and feels somewhat like Modena. Modena, sure, yeah. Modena is slightly smaller. Beautiful town. My God, Modena is a stunner. It takes your breath away. Padova is really beautiful, but honestly, when you're in Italy a lot, you get this discerning taste. I'm sure anyone maybe from across the other side of the world dropped into any place in Italy at any moment would be like, wow, it's all spectacular. But once you get into it, then you kind of get preferences between towns. Padova is really beautiful, but above all, Padova is a kind of an academic city, and it's a little bit coop and dark, and as you saw with all the kind of the arcades, sotto i portici, as they say, it's kind of a little bit, you know, the city is all around you. It's kind of you know, it's right in your face and so on. And I think it's more, it kind of has a kind of a mini New York feel for me. Modena has a lot of splendor, but of course there's only that center area of Modena, that stretch that you can walk for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. But yeah, beautiful town. Steve Wilson says the Rolex are quite clever on window shopping. The displays they have are an art form in themselves, colorful fish, birds, etc. It's true. And the polar bear, right, that's a big one. They should sell them. I would love to put one on my wall. Whether it's, sometimes you come across, if you go on eBay or local listings like Craigslist and so on, sometimes you come across someone who maybe had an authorized dealer and had to close it down, or someone who knows an authorized dealer and gets past the old stuff. I was interested in purchasing some of that kind of stuff a while ago. It wasn't like the big polar bear or anything. That would be kind of weird in the house. But those deep green glass displays with the Rolex down the bottom, I have an area where I keep a lot of my watches. Most of them are in the bank, of course, but whatever watches I have at home, I kind of, and the cheaper watches, I keep in a kind of a shrine, if you, for want of a better phrase. And I think I'd love one of those things behind it, maybe with a little light behind it, just to light up the whole thing. They are cool, and you can get them, you can find them. Obviously there's nowhere official to buy them, but that makes them even more special. Go on eBay, and you won't find anything on Amazon, but maybe on the yeah, again, the local listings on Craigslist and stuff like that, you might find someone with the stuff, maybe some interesting pieces. I have, in some of my videos, you may notice, I have Rolex gloves. I also have a Patek Philippe loupe that my authorized dealer gave me. And you know, you start collecting these things, it's kind of fun. I have a Rolex wallet, which is kind of nice. It's a bit ostentatious to carry around a Rolex wallet, but whatever, it's kind of cool. Jonathan Land says, beautiful watch, can't fault it. This is the Submariner. I have a GMT black and gold. That's a great watch. I was going to get that watch. I should have jumped on that, because I don't think they actually make it anymore. I think when they stopped doing the 116710, the all black GMT, the espresso GMT, earlier this year, they also stopped doing the black and gold one, as far as I know, and there wasn't such a big fuss over dropping that one, but now that's a kind of a rare model as well. My sub is the latter, and the bluesy with ceramic bezel. I don't think it's your choice, but actually, yeah, the bluesy with the ceramic is not, look, it's a beautiful watch, and I did consider getting one, but again, the old bluesy, man, when you see the older ones, not even very old, there are some very old ones that kind of have a purple blue to them, because they fade with age. Colors tend to fade with age. If it were the other way around, I may buy the ceramic bluesy hoping that the blue would get deeper and darker with time, but that's not the way things happen in nature. Things with age tend to get lighter and fadier, which in some cases, like the Rootbeer, is a great thing, but I don't think I would like a ceramic bluesy to get any lighter than it is. Again, bluesy from the late 90s or noughties all the way up to 2010, especially the one that Archie had a while ago with no holes case and the Rolex Repeat Rehot and the solid end links. I think that is the sweet spot. But look, I wouldn't say no to ceramic bluesy. Enjoy it. It's a beautiful piece. MMX2. I wonder, is he talking about the processor? I'm a bit of a computer nerd. MMX2 reminds me of a Pentium processor name from years ago. I don't know if that's what he's referring to. Anyway, he says, how do you keep the links so crisp? My bluesy has scratches on the polished center links. Did you Cape Cod the watch? No, I baby those watches. You know, with the Submariner or the Explorer, that's all brushed, all satin, you don't have to baby it as much. You can go out and wear it and not worry. With the two tones and the polished center links, you tend, especially that they're gold or platinum or whatever watch you have, you tend to only wear it to the restaurant, you know, with a nice shirt on or something like that, so you know it's not going to get scuffed. But you know, give it some time. I'm sure I'll begin to scuff up those center links. It's impossible to keep them pristine. It's just, you look at them and they scratch. My work here is done. Cool name. Not sure if you actually live there, but I hope you haven't been affected by the floods in Venice. Yeah, Venice is overrun, guys, at the moment. I know I just did a video there last week of this watch, of the Daytona there, and I was very lucky to kind of catch some of the end of the nice weather there. Right now, Venice are experiencing their yearly floods that pretty much happen every year, sometimes more severe than others, and if you don't believe in global warming, maybe you should take a look at the news in Venice right now, because they're looking at nearly 2 meters of water there. It's never been this bad in the history of Venice. And I have a lot of friends who live there who are held up in their apartments. They're stuck in their apartments right now. They can't leave because it's impossible to get anywhere. Luckily, a couple of my friends that I spoke to earlier today said they had already done all their shopping and so on and picked up everything they needed. You have to remember as well, there are the stores like a co-op and with groceries and so on. Right now there are photos of co-ops like with all the bread and the milk and everything floating on water. It's like it's a super disaster there right now. It is a city on water, so it's to be somewhat expected, and of course I'm inland about half an hour away from Venice, so of course we don't feel it here, but you wouldn't even feel it in Mestre, which is right at the edge there looking out of Venice. They don't have any floods there either. It's just because the old city of Venice is like this fish that is out in the center of the lagoon, so obviously when the tide comes up heavily, they get destroyed. All right, that's it. Thanks for your comments and questions, guys. That was actually kind of fun. I think I'll do look at the hair. Look, it just decides to do this. It's just like, now I'm a Turner painting. Now I'm the Tempest. What is that? Anyway, I would like to set up a question answer Q&A thing on Instagram if possible. Maybe if you guys want to log on to my Instagram, it's the Timeless Watch channel. Pretty simple. And just hit me with a question, whatever you like, and I'll go through and do it that way rather than going through the comments. So I'll be able to answer those next week, as long as there aren't too many of them, but I'll get through as many as I can. I'll sit here all day, guys, if you will, so why not? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.